Okay, so for today's deep dive, we're comparing two really significant platforms in the distributed ledger world, Coinbase, Base, and Google Clouds Universal Ledger, GCUL for short.
Right. Two massive names, obviously.
Exactly. And you'd probably assume they're direct competitors, fighting for the same space, the same users.
That's the immediate thought, yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, when you dig into it, what we're seeing is, well, something else entirely. They aren't really competing head-to-head.
Not competing. How so?
It seems they're built for almost parallel universes. One, Base, is really doubling down on refining the open sort of retail Web3 economy.
Okay, the crypto native space.
Precisely. And the other, GCUL, is more like a purpose-built toolkit, engineered specifically for traditional institutional finance, TradFi.
Interesting. So one for the insiders, one for the outsiders almost.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
All right, let's unpack Base first then, Coinbase's platform. You called it an insider's solution. What does that mean practically?
Well, Base is fundamentally an Ethereum layer 2, an L2 scaling solution. It's built using the OP stack from Optimism.
And for anyone maybe less familiar, L2s like Base are basically trying to fix Ethereum's big bottleneck, right? The fact that it can be slow, maybe 15, 30 transactions a second.
Exactly that. And the gas fees can get really high, which kills certain use cases.
So how does Base tackle that?
It uses optimistic rollups, which is basically a clever way to bundle thousands of transactions together off the main Ethereum chain.
Kind of batch processing them.
Sort of, yeah. Then it submits just a single compact proof back to Ethereum's main layer, which handles the actual security.
Okay, so you get Ethereum security, but without clogging up the main network for every little transaction.
Exactly. And the result is a huge drop in cost. We're talking, often less than a cent per transaction.
Less than a cent. Okay, that suddenly makes things like, I don't know, Web3 gaming or social apps actually feasible at scale.
That's the goal. Mass adoption use cases that just weren't economical on layer 1.
Now, here's something I found really strategic. The economics. Coinbase launched Base without its own native token.
Right. That was a big decision. All the fees on Base are paid in Ether.
Why do that? Most L2s launch a token.
Well, it does a couple of things. First, it tightly aligns Base with the success of the broader Ethereum ecosystem. If Ethereum thrives, Base benefits directly.
Okay, symbiosis.
And second, from a practical standpoint for developers, no new token means, well, massive regulatory clarity, relatively speaking. And it removes the worry about the value of some new volatile token collapsing, which could kill their app's economics.
So it makes Base feel more stable, more appealing for building long-term projects, less speculative risk.
I think that's definitely part of the calculation, yeah.
Okay, so Base is like paving a super fast, super cheap highway for the existing Web3 public. What about Google's GCUL then? You said it's for TradFi.
Totally different world. GCUL is framed as an outsider's toolkit. It's engineered from the ground up for the needs of the regulated financial industry. Think banks, custodians, asset managers. The institutions. And the architecture reflects that completely. It's not a public chain. It's a standalone, private, and crucially, permissioned Layer 1 blockchain.
Permission Layer 1, meaning you can't just connect your wallet and use it.
Absolutely not. Access is restricted. You need to be essentially KYC verified and approved entity to even interact with it. And it's delivered as a managed service via Google Cloud APIs.
Wow. Okay. So the polar opposite of Base's open approach. Why build it that way?
Because its core value proposition isn't openness, it's compliance and control. It's designed to solve the pain points of legacy finance, things like slow settlement times, counterparty risk.
Right. The stuff that keeps bankers up at night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So within this controlled environment, they can enable features vital for finance, like atomic settlement.
Where the payment and the asset swap hands at the exact same instant, guaranteed.
Precisely. Irreversible simultaneous settlement. That drastically reduces risk in complex financial transactions. But it only works because it's a closed, controlled system.
But isn't that completely against the whole decentralization ethos of blockchain? A private permission chain run by Google Cloud.
It is. It's the antithesis of public Web3. But that's exactly why a regulated bank might actually use it. They need that control and compliance layer.
Okay, I see the logic, even if it feels counterintuitive from a crypto perspective.
And there's another really smart move they made for adoption. Forget Solidity, the common smart contract language in Web3. GCUL supports smart contracts written in Python.
Python? Like the language millions of enterprise developers already know.
Bingo. Huge existing talent pool in fintech and traditional IT departments. They don't need to retrain entire teams on blockchain-specific languages. It massively lowers the barrier for banks to actually build something on it.
That's a major advantage for enterprise adoption.
Okay.
Yeah, what about fees? If Base uses ETH, what does GCUL use? Surely not crypto gas fees.
No way. That kind of volatility is a non-starter for institutional budgeting. GCUL uses a stable, predictable monthly billing model paid in fiat currency.
Like any other Google Cloud SaaS product.
Exactly. Predictable operational expenditure. Enterprises understand that model.
So let's just synthesize this. Base is tackling scalability and cost for the public Web3 world using ETH, staying open.
Right. Solving problems within the existing crypto ecosystem.
While GCUL is focused on regulatory compliance and control for TradFi institutions, using a private chain, familiar tech like Python, and stable fiat billing.
Solving problems for the traditional financial system, using blockchain tech as a tool but in a closed garden. Two different problem sets, two different audiences.
Which brings us to this kind of paradox, doesn't it? Because Google Cloud itself is a massive infrastructure provider for the public Web3 world. Coinbase is a huge Google Cloud customer.
Right. Google Cloud powers huge chunks of the open internet, including crypto.
Yet, Google built GCUL specifically for that slice of the financial market, the regulated institutions that probably would never consider using a public, permissionless chain like Base for their core operations.
It shows they understand the market segmentation. There's the open Web3 world, and there's the high-value, regulated TradFi world. They want a product tailored for the latter, even while they serve the former as an infrastructure provider.
So the key takeaway here for you listening is understanding the split. You've got the public, retail-focused Web3 evolving on platforms like Base.
And then you have this separate, permissioned, institution-focused TradFi system being built out on platforms like GCUL. They're designed not to overlap directly, at least initially.
Which leads to a fascinating thought. If these two universes, public Web3 and private TradFi, are being built in parallel, where does the real action happen next?
Well, probably not deep inside either system in isolation. The really crucial developments, the ones that will shape the future of finance.
They'll likely be in the connections, right? The regulated bridges, the gateways, the on-ramps and off-ramps that have to be built eventually to link these two very different financial realities.
Yes, exactly. How will value move between the open world of Base and the closed world of GCUL? Who builds those bridges? Who controls them? What will they even look like?
That's the space to watch. What connects these parallel financial systems? Something to definitely mull over. Thanks for diving deep with us today.